Hello everyone. I felt like making a video talking about maps and civ picks and like just the balanced state, I guess. Um, and also most importantly about people dodging games. I personally also dodge games sometimes if it's a map that I really don't feel like playing. Um, and obviously this hurts the game in a sense because you're spending more time in queue, less time playing, which isn't fun for anyone. And I kind of want to engage in a conversation of why I dodge and why other people are doing it. And perhaps you're of the opinion that you should never dodge. And yeah, I think if that's your opinion, that's also a fine one. And maybe it would be nice to have some sort of discussion about this topic, so we can kind of hear both sides and figure out why things are going the way they are. So I think we currently have 17 maps in the map pool. Um, and I think different maps promote different civ picks. So for example, Dry Arabia, and I think these sort of maps are kind of like similar to that. Um, I could be wrong, but I think one of these is basically Dry Arabia with like the forest that you can't see through or something. But so these maps usually promote raiding civs, I would say. So like French or Rus or Mongols, these sort of civs that like to make mobile units and can go in for raids. And then, for example, a map like Hill and Dale or Black Forest is a bit more safe. You can easily wall up, and they promote more civs that like to skill up, maybe like China, Abbasid, maybe HRE. These sort of civs. Um, Probably France Pass is somewhat similar to that because it's also quite hard to reach your opponent's base. So I think different maps promote different civ picks, and I think that's fine. It's fun to mix things up, play different kind of maps. I would really not enjoy playing one map over and over again. Um, so that's kind of the thing for most of these land maps. King of the Hill, for example, is one sacred site, so maybe you want to go for like a sacred site play. It's somewhat similar to France Pass, where if you control the middle, so if you can play for map control, you can win through that. Hill and Dale, even though it promotes safety, if you can just wall up your little pocket and be safe, you do eventually have to go out on a map, and I think this map actually allows for more strategies than people are doing. So the thing I'm trying to say is that I think most land maps promote different kind of playstyle, but at least every land map, I feel like there's multiple civs that you can pick from. And now, when I'm looking at the water maps, I don't feel the same. So first off, let's talk about Warring Islands, Archipelago, or however you want to call it, and I suppose Boulder Bay somewhat as well. I think we've seen a lot of French on these maps mostly. I think they're pretty dominant there, particularly because of the Hulk balance being a bit broken at the moment, which is something they're trying to patch. I do know that some other strategies are like coming up, so there might be other stuff as well there. Um, and I usually dodge these maps. I will occasionally play them just because I don't want to like never ever play something. Like, I think it's good to allow it sometimes, but most of the time I'll dodge it just because I don't think it's a fun playstyle to be forced to go water. So if you're playing a map where you're spawning on an island, you basically have no other option than to make a dock and make boats. And I don't think that's a game style that should be promoted. I think water should be an optional thing. Um, and I think that the main game should be about land fighting. That's just my opinion. Um, and at the end of the day, I'm playing for fun. And whenever I do play these maps, I usually just don't enjoy myself. I enjoy myself, which is why I end up dodging them. And a lot of people are also doing that. Um, so yeah, it's hard to how do I say it? I know people will dislike it that do want to play these maps that they get dodged so often, but I don't know if these sort of maps should be in a map pool. That's just like I don't think it should be a thing. So there's a lot of water maps besides these. So we have this one, which is a really strange one. I think it heavily depends on the map spawn. Sometimes you will just have like a forest cutting off your access to the middle lake or something on one of the sides. Feels a bit random, this map sometimes. I think this one and this one are pretty similar. Anyway, the main problem that I have with these maps is that I think there are so few civs that you can play. So in my own experience, when I do play them, so sometimes I dodge them, sometimes I play them. This is usually what will happen. You'll play a Mongol mirror, which will take like 10 minutes. Or you will play a Mongol mirror that will take like 4 minutes. It just, basically, I feel forced to play a Mongol. And I know my opponents usually agree, so almost always I end up playing a Mongol mirror. And I find this annoying and boring. Mongols is not the kind of civ that I enjoy playing. It's not my style. But I can't think of any other civ that I could play. I think maybe, and I haven't figured out yet, but maybe there's like some potential to go Delhi, and then you have the shooting fishing boats. But in general, I think Mongols are just so dominant because in this game, you're not on a water map, you're not allowed to not play water. What I mean by that is, if you don't play water on a water map, you just fall so far behind on an eco that you're just going to lose the game to any civ. Alright, so that means that you have to play water. But Mongols, they can double produce spear in H1, so they can just control the water. You're not allowed to make a dock because it can just get destroyed. So that, at the end of the day, only Mongols are allowed to play water. And if water is like an auto win because it's too strong eco-wise, that also means that Mongols is going to end up being the only civ that gets played, and that's what we're seeing. So, like I said, I play them occasionally. For example, I have 2 games of them in my match history right now, but most of the time I will dodge them. And I am of the opinion that water maps should not come as often as they do. So right now we have 17 maps and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of them are water, which is over half or about half. And I personally believe that water maps should be like this thing that comes up maybe 20% of the time, 25% of the time. So I think the frequency of water maps is way too high, which also results in more dodging. I think if it only came up 20% of the time, then you're more okay with just rolling with it and playing it 20% of the time. Like the majority of the time, I just want to play land maps. And I know that some people that are dodging, they will also start dodging like Black Forest or maybe Hill and Dale even. Like some people, I think they go a little bit overboard with the dodging. I think you should still try to play a mixture of the game and not just only Arabia or something like that. But I do understand why people are dodging, and I hope you can understand why I do it as well. I just think that Mongols is such a dominant civ on almost any water map. And also a map like, for example, Confluence. I just find it unfun playstyle that, for example, someone could wall up the bridges and then any boat can just control the bridges and like counter any push by just having one boat. It's just, in my opinion, just bad gameplay. And these games also tend to go very long. Or like a demolition ship that can nuke an army because you can't go past it. These sort of things. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I would just love to hear you guys' opinions about these maps, about civ picks. Do you think it's wrong that I or other people are dodging? Like, do you dodge? Yeah, whatever. Just give me your thoughts and let's have an open discussion about this. That would be nice. That's gonna be it for now, and take care.